Welcome to the Living in Chicagoland podcast, where we take a deep dive into a Chicago neighborhood or suburb every week, giving you the pros and cons of each area so you can make informed decisions when looking to buy or sell real estate. I'm your host, Tim Winfrey Jr. This week, we're going to be talking about Oak Park. I'm here with Morgan Diggory of the Diggory Group with RE/MAX in the Village. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's kick it off with a brief summary of your career and why you are the go-to agent in Oak Park.
Hi, Tim. Well, thanks for having me. I've lived in the Oak Park area basically my whole life. My family moved to Oak Park from Ukrainian Village in the city in 1989. Our first house in Oak Park was this really cool octagon bungalow, with like the art glass windows in the front. It was on Lemoyne Parkway, which is arguably one of the most beautiful streets in all of Oak Park. I remember there were tons of kids on the block, and actually I'm even still in touch with some of them. Here's a picture of me and a few of the kids from my neighborhood. This was probably like 1991-ish, which was around the time my mom got her real estate license. So my real estate training started early. I definitely remember going on showing appointments with her sometimes, and she likes to tell a story about a time I pointed to some water damage and told her clients about it, which I guess was pretty funny coming from, like a little girl. Fast forward to 2007, which was a year after I graduated from college. I was trying to figure out, what do I want to do with my life, So I just figured, why not follow in my mom's footsteps, give this real estate thing a try, and so here I am 15 years later, still helping people buy and sell real estate in the Oak Park area.
That is so cool. I love talking to second-generation realtors. I am also second-generation, so that's awesome. It's so cool when people follow in the footsteps like that, because it's such an awesome career, especially when you get good at it. I can't think of a better job personally. So I'm glad that you found your road there. All right, cool. So now we're going to talk specifically about Oak Park. We're going to do pros and cons. So we're going to do one pro and then a con, and we'll keep doing that until you run out of them. Okay. Let's start with the first pro. What do you think is one of the best reasons to move to Oak Park?
Our historic homes and architecture. Oak Park has lots of really cool historic homes and Frank Lloyd Wright homes. We even have the Frank Lloyd Wright home and studio here, which is one of our bigger tourist attractions. There's a lot of variety in the housing styles here, so as long as you like older homes, I think there's something for everybody. Oak Park does tend to be on the pricier side, though. Like the average price of a single family home here is around $600,000. But if that's out of reach for you, we actually have a lot of affordable condos and townhouses, and then a bunch of rental options as well.
I love that you brought up the Frank Lloyd Wright, because that was on my list of I hope she brings this up. So yeah, I think that's a really cool part about Oak Park as well. So let's look at the counterbalance, right? What is something that somebody should consider that might be a negative if they were moving to Oak Park?
Okay, I am not even exaggerating here, but it was really hard for me to think of cons. But one that I thought of, and it might not be a con for everybody, but Oak Park has lack of nightlife. We have lots of good restaurants, but pretty much everything closes early and there's no real nightlife. We don't have any bars that aren't also restaurants, and that's because for a long time Oak Park actually didn't allow places to sell alcohol if they didn't also sell food. There's more nightlife options now than there used to be. A few places that come to mind are Kettle Strings Grove, which is a fancy cocktail lounge, and Fora Wine Merchants, which is a cute little wine shop and bar. They do wine tastings and classes. We've got Beer Shop, which kind of has coffee house vibes. You can sit at the bar and drink the beers they have on tap, but you can also grab cans of beer to go. They have board games and trivia, and they're super dog friendly, so you could actually drink beer with your dog. There's a couple of breweries now, too. We have Kinslager on Roosevelt Road, and then also One Lake, which is on Lake in Austin. And then if none of that does it for you and you want something that's open later or that's more like an actual bar, You can obviously head into the city, which is nearby, but there are two neighboring towns that have lots of good options. Madison Street in Forest Park is known for its bars. And then we've got some really cool music venues in Berwyn on Roosevelt Road. There's Fitzgerald's and then Friendly Tap.
Wonderful. So, I mean, it might not have a raging nightlife, but it does look like there are certainly options still. And, maybe you have to leave the city of Oak Park a little bit, but Forest Park and Berwyn are 10 minutes away at max. So, I mean, it's not like you're going too far. Thank you so much. So let's get back into the positives. What do you think is another pro of moving into Oak Park?
The schools. We've got lots of highly rated public schools here. District 97 has 8 elementary schools and 2 middle schools. And then we've got District 200, which is our high school, OPRF, and that serves Oak Park as well as our sister village of River Forest. And if public schools aren't your thing, we actually have a lot of good private school options in the area as well.
All right. Thank you so much for that answer. As always, we'll just switch it to the counter. What do you think is another potential negative for somebody looking to move in the area?
Sure. Well, I said this was a pro, but now I'm going to say it's a con. We have a lot of historic homes. So this is a con for a couple of reasons. One, if you live in a historic home or in one of the historic districts, the changes you can make to your house are going to be pretty limited. And then two, this is mostly just for the Frank Lloyd Wright Historic District, but those areas can actually get pretty busy with tourists, so that might bug you if you're looking for more peace and quiet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a pro and a con. You're absolutely right. Because the pros are the amazing architecture and the unique buildings in Oak Park, because there's so many. There's so many more Victorians and stuff like that in Oak Park than you see in the city. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, if you are fixing up one of those houses, you need to get some special permits and all that fun stuff. But obviously, if you're buying one of those houses, you probably like the historic appeal in the first place. So, fantastic answer. What is another pro for somebody looking to live in Oak Park?
Sure. So another pro would definitely be location and transportation options. Oak Park's location and proximity to the city is kind of like, best of both worlds. You've got this urban suburban environment. So if you love the city, but you feel like you kind of need a little taste of the suburbs, Oak Park is probably perfect for you. Or if you work in the city, but you don't necessarily want to live in the city, Oak Park is perfect for you. The Loop is just 9 miles east. You can get there in 30 minutes or less on 290 or one of 2 L lines. We've got the blue and the green line here. And if for some reason you didn't want to ride the L, we also have a Metro line that goes downtown. Oak Park has various CTA bus routes and also the Pace bus. So for sure, lots of good transportation options. And then I think Oak Park's location is great if you're a nature lover too, because we're super close to various forest and nature preserves as well.
Extremely thorough answer. I love that. I think, Chicago has one of the best public transportation in the country. And obviously Oak Park being about as near of a suburb as you could possibly be. I mean, it borders Chicago, right? So it carries over. So that's a fantastic pro. Thank you for sharing that. Let's look at the opposite again.
Okay, so it's urban suburban. I mentioned that in my pros, but I would say Oak Park is probably not for you if you're looking to completely get away from that hustle and bustle of city life.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, Oak Park is fairly similar to the city of Chicago. I mean, there's certainly differences as it is a near suburb, but I mean, if you're looking for a quarter acre in the middle of nowhere, right? I mean, it's probably not Oak Park that you're looking for. So that's another good answer.
Nope.
Awesome. Let's talk about the positives again.
Okay. The Park District. Oak Park has a phenomenal park district. It was actually just recognized as one of 4 finalists for the 2022 National Gold Medal Awards for Excellence in Parks and Recreation. There is a 5-minute video on the Park District website at pdop.org/gold medal. That's a fantastic glimpse into what the Park District has to offer. And actually, I think it really captures the essence of what Oak Park as a village and a community is all about. So, if you're considering a move to Oak Park, I highly recommend you check out the PDOP website. Seriously, the Park District has so much to offer. Like, we could probably do a whole podcast on just that. But Oak Park has, I think it's 17 parks. We've got 2 awesome pools, an ice skating rink, summer camps and after school programs galore. There's programs for adults, seniors, special needs, everything from athletics to, like, honestly, you name it, they've probably got something for you. We even have this cute little conservatory that's part of our park district. My 3-year-old daughter loves to go there. They have this talking parrot named George. I actually have a picture here of George that I pulled from the conservatory's Instagram. I've never really heard him say anything other than hello, but it's really cute. And my daughter was absolutely amazed that like a bird could say anything at all. So when I was a kid, there was actually a different bird there, a different parrot. His name was Larry Bird.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And one night, this cat, yeah, Larry Bird, this cat got stuck, like trapped in the conservatory overnight. And I guess the cat was like meowing all night long. So
Bird
then
meowed.
after that, Larry Bird just like meowed all the time. So there was this meowing parrot. Yeah, so pretty funny. Lastly, this isn't really part of the park district, but I'm going to throw it in here. We have 3 amazing public libraries in Oak Park.
Oh, yeah, that's an extremely valid point. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think that's a good thing to roll
Yes.
that all in together because I do kind of feel like they're similar. We will include that link in the
Right.
show notes so people have easy access to it so they could take a look. Any type of
Perfect.
resource like that, we're happy to provide. Love the bird story. My daughter has a cockatiel, so they're like little parrots. They're interesting animals. She's a lot of fun. She had a big egg laying spree last year. She had like 10 eggs over like 3 months, and it was kind of
Oh,
a nightmare. But I've been
whoa.
told, they just imitate noises. So like if a bird is really close to like a car alarm or something like that, they'll make that noise. Um, yeah.
Oh, that'd be wild.
So I mean, yeah, they just imitate. They don't necessarily understand. So yeah, cool story. Thank you for bringing it up. Let's look at the potential negatives again.
Anyone who lives here knows that parking and traffic can be a pain in the butt, especially in the like downtown Oak Park area. There's a lot of super confusing signs that you literally have to stand there and try to decipher, like this one here. So if you mess up reading this and you park where you're not supposed to, or your paid parking expires before you get back to your car, like expect a ticket. They are on it. They will get you. Like, it's enough to make you want to give up the car entirely and just get a bike. But seriously, if you're into biking or walking and you don't have a car, Oak Park is very bike and pedestrian friendly. Like, we've got lots of bike lanes and well-marked crosswalks. And then if you live in the downtown Oak Park area, you probably like just don't even need a car for most of your daily errands.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you mentioned how good the public transportation is, correct? And that's 100% astute. So I mean, you don't necessarily need a car. Most people probably still have a car, of course, but very good observation. I could also relate to that to a degree. There's so many times there's been an event in Oak Park or something, like a mini parade or something, and I feel like it ruins the traffic for like the 10-mile radius around it. So it's like, oh my God, Oak Park's doing something again. But again, that's actually kind of a pro because they actually do have a lot of activities going on. So, the fact that there's drawing traffic in there means there's a reason to be there. So thank you for that answer. Let's do another positive.
Okay, we're on the number 1 positive, right? Okay, so number 1 reason to move to Oak Park is it's a very welcoming community. I see Oak Park as super welcoming and inclusive, and I think that's the number 1 reason why it's so popular. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad or a blue-collar worker or a brain surgeon. There's a place for you here in Oak Park.
Absolutely, 100% agreed. It's a very friendly area. What's the counterbalance to that?
Taxes. This is kind of a bummer, but it's no secret that Oak Park is known for having high property taxes. But like anything else, I think you get what you pay for, right? So I talked about this on my pros list, but Oak Park has an excellent park district and libraries and good public schools. And I think our tax dollars contribute to all the things that make Oak Park such a great place to live. Plus, there are ways to lower your taxes. You should always make sure you're receiving any exemptions that you qualify for. And you can appeal your taxes too. I know plenty of people who do that on a regular basis and they're successful with it. So, definitely options to try and lower that high tax bill, but you can still feel good about the way your tax dollars are being spent.
Of course, Oak Park has a ton to offer, and not only that, I mean the proximity to the city too. I mean you're not even far from downtown and all of that. But taxes is an Illinois issue just about anywhere. It is a little bit higher in Oak Park than other areas, but I mean, unfortunately, if you're going to be living in the Chicago land area, really at all, your taxes are going to be high. So I mean, kind of at least you're getting the park district, the awesome libraries, and the historic districts in return for those taxes, right? So I mean, not every city has the same benefits at the very least.